Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Your host, V&M General Manager Kevin Jean and Iowa Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff will keep you up to date on what's happening on the best lakes in the Ark-La-Tex region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, two guys who have fished at a high level with Pro-Am experience with ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers with a wealth of knowledge and willing to share. So pull up a chair, kick back, and see why so many anglers watch Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome to another edition of Tackle Talk Live. James doing a good countdown over there. Boy,
we went from 5 to 2 to 1.
Yeah. I think that's a Northwestern State math, you know. But anyway, hey, welcome. We're glad you tuned us in. We appreciate you. Again, we're Tackle Talk Live. I'm Steve Graff, along with Kevin Jean, president for V&M Baits. And we got a great show lined up for you today. You know, I just got back from Sam Rayburn, got my head handed to me. Not gonna make excuses. It is what it is. Me and my partner, Brett Horman, we struggled. We just couldn't figure the pattern out. Whatever it was, we couldn't figure it out. But we do have a guy on the show today that did figure it out. Actually, they finished fourth in this event, and that's Chris McCall. And Mike, I guess you say that Mushek?
Oh, his partner?
Yeah, Mark Mushek.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah,
Munchak. Munchak. Anyway,
line on that one.
Maybe it's Mark Muke. Yeah, Mueck, but it's Mark.
No. Chris's partner's Tim Klein.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I don't know where I got Mark.
That's
Tim Klein,
Winners.
that's right. I know Tim.
That's Winners. You're thinking the Winners.
Yeah, I'm doing the Winners. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Let me correct that real quick before I make that a mistake again. Tim Klein. Anyway, both of those guys, they finished fourth in this event, but more importantly, won Angler of the Year, Kevin, for the PTTO Tour.
I mean, came in a great season. You know, TTO Pro Team circuit is just some great anglers from top to bottom, and Chris and them finished 12th. Third and fourth.
Yeah,
Heck, we're going to talk to him a little bit about all three lakes, talk to him about the TTO Pro Team event, and then also we're going to really dive into Sam Rayburn. We got a couple of tournaments coming up on Sam Rayburn. We have the Toy Bash next weekend, and then the last team standing qualifier on Sunday, the Outlaw Outdoors is putting on. So we got two tournaments coming up this weekend, so we're going to kind of let Chris jump into Sam Rayburn and kind of get his outlook for Sam Rayburn coming into such a busy 2022 season starting January, right off the bat in January. So kind of talk to Chris on, kind of where Sam Rayburn's at, kind of see what his predictions are for the spring.
I know when we were there, it looks like they were pulling the lake down the whole time we were there. And I guess they're doing a drawdown. I'm sure that's planned because we know in the spring, Rayburn, as it was last year, got up to 12 feet above pool. I'm sure they try to avoid that at all possible, but you can't control Mother Nature, Kevin. They try to do a good job at Rayburn of controlling the water levels over there and trying to get ready for the spring rains that are coming up. Hopefully they'll be coming up because the last thing we need is a drought around here. That hurts all of our lakes when that happens. But anyway, but we'll give the final results of that. As I've already named one of the winners, David Curtis and his partner Mike Mueck. It's M-U-E-C-K. I'm assuming that's Mueck, and they won the tournament. And congratulations to those guys. And maybe later on down the road we'll try to have David on.
Yeah, we tried to have David on today, and he had a doctor's appointment he had to be at, so he was not able to come on with us. Maybe we'll get him on next week. I would really like to break it down. I mean, these guys had 28 pounds, 27 pounds back-to-back day. Ran away with the tournament, not even close. But, we're going to jump into it with Chris today. The thing I'm excited about, again, to talk with Chris about today is not only how the lake is fishing, but, again, what's his thoughts on? He has seen it year after year on Sam Rayburn, and to kind of get his thoughts on where we're headed in the spring. Because Steve, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to read right now. It's hard to read. Yeah. The lake's been fishing a little tough. It's been fishing pretty tough, but are they already starting to transition into the back of the creeks? Yeah. I know a lot of people called them deep this past weekend.
Well, they had to because we were in the back of the creeks and they weren't there.
Well,
we struggled in the creeks.
And I know a lot of the people I've seen that's been going over there has been catching a lot of fish deep. So, they're still out. It seems to me like the fish have not started to move yet, and I want to jump into all that with Chris.
And real quick, too, just so you know, Kevin, because you'll be proud to hear this, I'm sitting in the boat before takeoff, And there's a gentleman about 2 boats over, and he's got this white sack, looks like a donut sack. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, hey, I hope you brought enough donuts for everybody. Well, he did. No, I don't have any donuts. I got tacos. I'm like, well, that's even better for me. And so I said, hey, and one of the guys, the other partner in his boat said, hey, that's Tackle Talk Live.
There you go.
And I was like, how'd you know? He said, man, you got a new boat. And I said, no, this is my partner's boat. And I said, but they recognize the voice.
There you go.
I'm in the weighing line day one. Got my fish. We're toting them up there, me and Brett, and put our fish in the tank. And I looked across the guy from me. I said, hey, man, how'd you do today? At the same time, him and 2 guys down, Tackle Talk Live.
There you go.
So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate all you guys that watch us each and every week. We can't say thank you enough. We appreciate you recognizing us and just saying hello at the tournaments. That's what we're here for. That's what we love doing. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And so we want to say thank you for each time you come up to us, let us know who you are. Hopefully, Kevin, one day we'll have some hats.
We're going to start.
Maybe we can give some hats away.
Starting 2022, we will have some apparel, some hats, some decals. We will start all that in 2022.
Yeah. And so, anyway, we're going to take one quick break before we come back with Chris McCall. And you're watching Tackle Talk Live. Thank you for tuning us in. And we'll be right back with more in just a minute.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your healthcare needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry 2 of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins, as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support garment and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49, or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live, and we appreciate you tuning us in today. This segment is presented by Toledo Health, The Boat Shop, 3J's Four-Way, home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. We appreciate you one and all. Thank you very much for all you do for our program. And on the Tackle Talk hotline, pro angler Chris McCall. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, guys. How are y'all today?
Yeah, good. Have you been to the bank yet?
Man, no, I hadn't been yet. My daughter, my little 2-year-old, she had fever last night, so it was kind of a long night. We're just getting going this morning.
Well, I actually came back with a head cold from Sam Rayburn after 4 days of fishing over there, and I for some reason I knew when I left here. I told my daughter I said I'll have a cold when I come back, and I did. And but it was kind of cool in the mornings, Kevin. We was over there, it was in the upper 30s, some more low 40s.
The wind was blowing on y'all too.
Especially Saturday, the wind blew pretty darn good, but it wasn't too bad until you came in that day. Yeah. And I've seen worse. Chris has been on worse, I'm sure, just like we all have. But Chris, congratulations, man, on you. Y'all finished fourth with 38-25, but more importantly, you won Angler of the Year, man. Congratulations for that.
Hey, thank you. It was Tim and I are really excited about it. It was a huge accomplishment with the amount of hammers fishing this tournament trail, and it's a very unique tournament trail. We had a really good time. And
Chris, I mean, to have the finishes, again, hats off against this field, this competition of anglers. You finished 12th at Texoma, 3rd at Lake Palestine, and then 4th at Sam Rayburn. I mean, to do that against those, again, congratulations. I really want to let's talk about the TTO Pro teams. Kind of the first year back, I can say we've tried. I think this scenario has been tried several times. I know you've been involved in that, but just give me your take on the pro team circuit this year and kind of how it went.
I think it's a great format, and I hope it takes more hold in the future, because we're at a stage right now with the gas prices so high and everything being so high that it's hard to go to a lake. And I mean, we live here at Rayburn, that's fine, but if you're going to drive to Texoma and you get $1,000 check, man, that doesn't hardly pay for anything anymore. And so I'm really excited about the way that they do the payout. Now, yes, it is a little bit higher, and yes, you've got some great teams in there, but there's a lot of guys that can catch them on all these lakes too. And I think once guys get past the mentality of, well, there's only one lake on this schedule that I know, I think it'll be easier to, once you get past that step, and man, I can go to this lake and compete too if I can win at my home lake. Maybe we can get it growing, because I think all the guys that fished it this year, that's what they want. They want to see it grow.
Yeah, because it wasn't near full of what they were expecting, and Chris, as you and I both committed to it, and again, I do like the way they did it with nobody coming in to shotgun an event. I like that format. FLW used to do that, and I liked it. I just feel like the one thing, and I believe me, I hear what you're saying on the payback. But with things going the way they're going, especially with gas prices, I know of a couple of circuits years ago, they eliminated their regionals because of gas prices, where guys wouldn't have to travel as much. But they extended their payback down a little further just to try to help guys with gas. Do you think that would be a little incentive for some guys to maybe sign up and fish this?
I think it could, because the great thing about this tournament trail is, we're not all trying to fish for one boat for first place and then, $2,500 for second place.
Right.
You can make a 5th, 6th place and make some good money. And I'm, Todd Castledine and I have talked about this quite a bit here lately. I'm not so much convinced that it needs to go to 100 or 125 boats. Cap it at 75 to 85. And you've still got a great field. It's still going to pay well, and you can pay down more places. If you can get it where it's paying at least 15 places a tournament. Now, I don't know the numbers on what we need to get there and what they need to have their amount of money to make what they need to make off the tournaments.
Right.
But it's the best thing, in my opinion, that we do have for a happy medium, where guys can actually go make some money. And the other good thing about it too is, right now they've got it set in the fall where they don't have to compete against all the other tournament trails, and gives guys something to do in the fall. And I know maybe we lose a few guys to hunting season, but not as many as people think. So I'm all for it. I think it's a great deal, and I hope it gets better.
I totally agree with you. I know in the Texoma tournament, the camera boat came over to me and my partner, Brett Hortman, and they asked us some questions about the tournament. And they said, well, what do you think about moving it to the spring? I said, absolutely not. Don't move it to the spring. There's enough to fish in the spring. And then guys have got to decide. They got to pick and choose then. If you have it in the fall, you're the only thing going in the fall.
And you're exactly right, because then you go back to start picking and choosing. You're like, well, if I live around Rayburn,
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
I'm going to fish Bass Champs. I'm going to fish Triple T. I'm going to fish Outlaw Outdoors. That alone gets you to where you're like, well, I don't have time to fish this other stuff, especially if I've got to come up with that amount of entry fee.
Well, if somebody lives at Rayburn, why are they going to drive to Texoma when there's $20,000 at Rayburn the next weekend?
Yeah.
Right. So I I'm all for it staying in the fall, and I've been told it's going to stay in the fall for next year for sure, and I hope that's the direction they go.
Yeah, and I would agree with you totally, and hopefully that's what they continue to do. And again, and you know, there's another circuit out there, the ABA Solo 150. Well, you know, the 150 was supposed to be the number of anglers that they were going to cap it off at. Well, we ended up with like 88 to 90. But we were fishing for a 2-day event for $15,000 for a 2-day event for a $600 entry fee. Well, that's a pretty darn good deal. And so I'm like you. I think the lower number is a good way to go. You don't have to have 100 guys. Like I said, cap it at 75.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the ABA deal too. Last year, just, you know, everything conflicted with the Southwest Toyota, and, you know, you got Rayburn, Texoma, Rayburn. I grew up on Texoma. I live at Rayburn. I wasn't going to miss it, but I have seen where I might be able to fit a couple of those this year, so I am looking forward to try to get in a couple of those.
Yeah.
Chris, I want to jump into Sam Rayburn here. And first of all, congrats on a 4th place finish this weekend. And so day 1, you guys had a little over 20 pounds, 20 and a half actually. And then day 2, you had 1564. The weights seemed to really fall off on day 2. But let's kind of talk about before the tournament start practice and kind of what you were seeing and how you felt going into the tournament.
Well, you know, Tim lives up on Texoma, and you know, that's where Tim and I got to fishing together, and normally we fish this one big fall tournament up on Eufaula called the Lauder Law Tournament, and it's this weekend, and Tim and I, it pays really good. Tim and I have done really well in it, so we were kind of apprehensive that we had to miss that this week to fish this, but basically what I told Tim when practice started was, we have to win the shallow tournament. If we can win the shallow tournament, we can win the points. And I think that's pretty much what happened. I think the 3 teams in front of us all fished deep, and we fished shallow. But, you know, before it went off limits, I found a place that I went into, and there were big gizzards in there, and I saw 2. I caught one of them, about a 6-pounder. And I saw another one, and these big gizzards were eating the shad, you know, getting eaten by the big bass in there. And, I mean, they were big bass. And so I didn't go back to it until the last day of practice late in the day. And I pulled in there, and right off the bat, I caught one about 2.5 pounds on a strike, Bill Lewis square bill. And I told Tim, I said, let's don't make another cast in here. Let's get out of here. And so the next morning I was running there to start, and it was so rough, and some rods came unstrapped, so I pulled in a cove over there about 5 fingers and sat, and we fished for about 45 minutes. I'm like, man, we got to get out of here. And we ran back there and got in there, and I mean, they were absolutely hammering a sandtone swim jig when we got there. You know, we were throwing a white one, a birch-colored one, river brim and white shadow, and we had about 16.5 pounds fairly early, and you know, and I thought that was a pretty good start, and then we were able to run around. We picked up a couple, you know, we picked up a 4-pounder and a 3-pounder on a Bill Lewis square bill, and got to 20, and you know, came in, and it was about like I figured. You know, the deep guys were going to have a better day, because, you know, the problem right now at Rayburn, everybody knows it. If your grass is in bad shape, I mean, it's scary bad. And I was having to use every little nook and cranny. I was looking for grass that was away from anything, you know, even if it was just a little small strip in a pocket. And so, you know, I wasn't sure what to expect on day 2. And, you know, we're culling right and everything that we catch. And it was funny because, you know, we started out with about 11 pounds where we started the day before. And we started going out and running around the lake. And we had one boat that, gosh dang, both days it seemed like everywhere we stopped, they were there. They were coming in there when we were coming out. And we finally ended up, I finally caught a 4-pounder on a swim jig on a stretch of hay that we were basically just fishing a wind pattern by that time. And then we ended up getting a couple more 3-pounders, and you know, we felt pretty confident. We had Angler of the Year locked down. And it's kind of tough when you go out on the second day of a tournament and know that even if you catch 20, you're probably not going to win. I mean, David, when you catch catch 28, all you got to do is catch 12 to get to 40. And with David and Mark being such good fishermen, you knew you were behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you're talking about the grass. We actually, my second day of practice, I found some grass, and it's no secret. It's a community area. Five Fingers, the back of Five Fingers has good grass in it. It really does. And 2 or 3 of those little cuts back there, it was loaded with grass. And I was like,
right.
And I caught we caught fish out of it, but they just weren't the size that we needed. And that kind of surprised me. I figured we'd catch quality out of there, but we didn't. And,
well, that's what I told Tim before he came down here. I said, the problem with what grass that we do have is it's not in the creeks you want it to be.
Right.
Everybody knows you want it to be in, Harvey and the deer stand and the canyons, and it's just not there. And to me, the creek that it is in is the creeks that get the absolute most amount of pressure, and it's hard to catch them out of there. I mean, we did get a 5-pounder out of Five Fingers the first day, but that was the only fish we caught in there. And I had one bank that I had a few good bites on, and that was the only fish we caught. So we actually, and I don't get to say this very often, I mean, I've had a lot of good tournaments on Rayburn, and I love fishing there in the fall. But this was one tournament where, like, every move I made and I'm not discounting Tim being in the boat with me. Tim just does not. He's only fished Rayburn a few times. We were fortunate enough that the moves that we made were at the right time both days. We got very fortunate. There's no.
So timing was a factor. I know it's a big factor on brush tops, and some of these guys, you can fish 20 brush tops, and you pull up on the right one at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and you can whack them all of a sudden and not have nothing in the boat at 2 o'clock, and all of a sudden you got 20 pounds in the boat. Timing is everything.
We had 13 pounds yesterday, 13 and a half, and where we were fishing, the wind. I could see the wind blowing, but I couldn't find any wind anywhere. And finally, I just ran out in the center of the lake, and I just kind of looked around. I'm like, where can I go to find some wind? I didn't even care at that point if it had hydrilla, and luckily we did. We found a spot. We culled one that ended up culling again, because shortly thereafter I caught a 3-pounder on a swim jig, and it was just because we found a bank that had some wind on it. Because boy, that one point it was like dead for us until we finally found wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, Chris, just talk a little bit more about Rayburn. So, the first weekend of January, it just blows open. It's every weekend in January, from January to June, is a big tournament. It seems like on Sam Rayburn. With the grass being in such a bind that it's in, let's talk forecast a little bit here for 2022 on Sam Rayburn with these tournaments and. That we got coming up here. How do you see the spring laying out for Sam Rayburn?
Man, I see Chris Wilson and his partner Clayton and Albert making a lot of money. Is what I see.
Chris, Clayton, Albert, Derek Mundy.
Yeah.
You got to throw Mundy in there too. It's scary for me because everybody knows I make my money throwing a rattle trap, and I'm telling you. You can't make money throwing a rattle trap. You go into a cove and you've got 50 boats on the same patch of grass. So on that 1 3x5 patch of grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I promise you, it's funny. Like I told Tim out there yesterday, I'm out here trying to win this tournament, but my whole time my mind is racing about January, February.
Yes.
The Brandon Belt tournament, the Toyota Series tournament, because. I count on Rayburn to get off to a good start in the Toyotas, and they're going to Guntersville this year for the championship. I'd really like to be there.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, picking the brain of guys like Albert and Clayton and Derek, some of the guys that I know personally, and just talking to them about how the lake fishes now. That deep water bite, according to all those guys, has really disappeared consistently. In other words, they used to go out and you could hit 5 brush tops and 3 of them going to have fish on them, you can catch them and you're going to do good. Now you can hit 20 brush tops, not even see a fish on them anymore, because they think there's so much pressure out there on the main lake now that the fish have kind of pulled away from them and gone more shallow.
And you spent some time with Clayton at Texas Home, and Clayton and I we're like brothers. If I hadn't moved for 4 years, Clayton and I would probably still be fishing together. But don't get me wrong, I wouldn't dump Albert to fish with me. I'm not stupid. talked to him. A lot of stuff that Albert has known for years is kind of getting hijacked. I mean, it's part of the. Unfortunately, no matter what, it's part of the process. I mean, even though it's happening out deep, it's happened for years up shallow. You find a group of fish in a bass champs on a rattle trap and you smash them and 3 boats see you. When you go back the next week for your next tournament, Angler's Quest, Triple D, them guys are going to be there. I mean,
to me though, Chris, the lack of grass is going to put even more pressure on those deep guys, because all those boats that are like yourself that are usually up there on the grass in the coves, throwing the swim jigs, throwing the square bills, it's just not there anymore. You can't have 100 boats going through Five Fingers fishing those 4 patches of grass. It's going to put more pressure on those deep guys who usually have a little. They don't have all of it, but they have more of it. So whereas this year they're not going to have it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's going to be tough, the whole thing. And I mean, and when you think about it, of course, you reference just the schedule of events, but think about it like this: you have the MLF tournament, or not MLF, the Big Five Pro Tour,
Circuit,
what they call it now.
Yeah.
And the very next week you got Brandon Belt. The very next week you got the Toyota Series.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's going to get exposed in the FLW tournament, the MLF tournament. Everything will be exposed in that tournament. And so by Brandon Belt, there's no secrets left. And by Toyota, and the bad thing about Rayburn, they don't much stick around the release area like they do a lot of lakes.
No, they don't. Yeah, I've tried to rely on that bite a couple of times, and that didn't pan out very well.
No, I've never understood it. It never pans out here.
No, it don't.
But yeah, I'm looking at, for myself, being selfish. I'm looking at a hard time this coming spring, and I'm scared to death of it.
Well, Chris, you got to be excited about the BAS Opens. I mean, it couldn't set up any better for guys in this region for this next year.
No, it was great, and I mean, I'm assuming I got in. I called in on the live member day or whatever. I hope I get in. I fished Ross Barnett one time. It's my style of fishery, but man, I didn't have a very good time. And, I hear such bad stories about the Red River now, but it's as good a schedule as someone from this area could possibly get with the way Bass does things, with where their stores are and everything. So
right.
I'm excited about it. I mean, it's there's one championship really I haven't ever got to fish. That's the Classic, and if I don't start fishing some opens, I'm never going to fish one. So at least you get one shot on your home lake anyway. And hopefully by next October, if we don't have anything crazy, we'll have some grass.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the last thing we need is a bunch of high water.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And you like a little bit of water to come up. We don't need 12 feet again at Rayburn no more. We don't need that for a while.
No, and that's the thing. It's to me, and it's a double-edged sword for me, because if I can't catch them, on a trap or around the grass, I got to go to the bushes. And you can't, like you just said, you can't wish for much, because if you do, then you're not going to have any hydrilla. And I'm afraid the next rain, if we get like that, it may be a while before we have any hydrilla.
Well, and there's something different about, I've talked to Castledine and Todd Driscoll, and I've asked him, I said, the fish don't relate to the bushes on Rayburn like they do on Toledo Bend. You get 4 feet of water in Toledo Bend, you can go whack you a 20-pound plus sack. They just don't seem to translate at Rayburn the same way.
Well, this year, I'll agree with you on this year. This year was odd.
Yeah.
I mean, when it got up at first and it got high enough to really start flipping bushes, I was doing it a lot. I actually had a lot of guide trips in through there, and we were fishing a lot of little small tournaments. And, it took them a while for the bigger fish to get in there. And then they finally, there was some that got in there, but then you can't get them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, for me, a lot of times it seems like those fish, Rayburn fish want to go shallow. I have been amazed with how little a cover over the last few months, even in the hot summertime, like not deep summertime, but the BFL, the Scout tournament. we were catching a lot of fish shallow, and they were on wood. So these fish actually started, to me, now not so much bushes as they would be on a laydown. They started like freaking Texoma fish.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a product of not having the environment that they want.
Right.
And if you can adjust to it, it's great. But I thought going into this tournament, I was going to catch a bunch of fish still around that wood. But that last foot of water they dropped off the lake kind of killed that deal for us.
Yeah, it did. No, you're exactly right. And
But we're fortunate because we do have this lake. This lake gets so many tournaments, though. And, unfortunately, every time all you got to do is open Facebook, and we've got, a benefit for somebody. We've got a work tournament. I mean, you hate to ever say that we don't need this many tournaments because the economy and everything around here needs it. But, man, it can also be a bad thing when you don't have the environment you need.
Yeah.
It hurt the fishery, and I hope that's not what we're going into. I know they're spraying up north again for the Salvania. As a bass fisherman, we want to always throw that together. Is the Salvania part of the reason, too, that we're having trouble with the grass growing? I think it's high water. I'm not a biologist, but it sure makes you wonder, and it makes all the fishermen wonder.
Yeah, exactly. They came by me around deer stand. They were in deer stand on Friday when I was in there, and first I thought it was somebody running lines, but then it turned out it was a big airboat, and I'm like, no, they ain't running. They're spraying. And, But anyway,
it's going to be a very, very interesting spring. There's no doubt. Like you said, those 3 straight tournaments, end of January, beginning of February, there's just not going to be any secrets left, and everybody's going to expose everything, and it's just going to brutally hit. And I'm like you, Chris. I'm worried on how much more it can hold up when there's nowhere for them fish to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and believe me, I've been all over the country. There's 3 levels get this kind of pressure: Gunnersville, Chickamauga, and Gunnersville and Rayburn continue to hold up to it. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about Chickamauga lately. I mean, when I've been to Chickamauga, it gets beat like Rayburn tournament every week, and you get amazed at what it takes to get paid and stuff over there. So the 3 lakes continue to hold up, and the common denominator between the 3 lakes is they have some form of hydro.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right. Well, Chris, man, we appreciate you, man. Congratulations on a great year, and look forward to 2022 and seeing you on the water.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Kevin. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for hollering at me.
All right. You have a good Thanksgiving, man.
Hey, y'all do the same. Thank you again.
All right. Chris McCall, pro angler, and we appreciate Chris coming on with us today and give us a little insight as to the tournament we just fished on Rayburn and then next year.
I was interested to hear because I know first through third was all deep. I know those guys. I know that's how they called them. And Chris is a shallow guy. I don't know if Chris ever hardly going deep. So I was anxious to hear. They had 20 on day 1, 15 on day 2, but day 2 struggled everybody except for first place. And I was anxious to hear if he kept with these typical Chris McCall swim jig square bill pattern, and he still caught them like that. So hats off to him and he was right. They won the shallow water tournament, which won them AOY.
Yeah. And we're going to take another quick break. When we return, we'll have the final results, give you an idea what the big fish were that come off this tournament. And we'll talk about upcoming events at Sam Rayburn when we return with more Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. This segment's brought to you by Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance Agency of Nacogdoches, Texas, and Lone Star Bass Trail. And Kevin, you got some news, Lone Star.
Lone Star Bass Trail, if you guys do not like and follow them on Facebook, make sure to do so. It's a different style tournament trail that has different various types of tournaments, MLF format style tournaments. They have the Ironman tournament that they did this past August. Fish 4 hours in the morning, take a break, fish 4 hours in the evening. They're doing a lot of tournaments on Lake Nacogdoches. He's working on putting some tournaments together for Toledo Bend. So make sure to like and follow their Facebook page, Lone Star Bass Trail.
And we appreciate them for everything they do for our program. And, hey, again, if you're looking for something to fish, guys, hey, and even though Christmas is right around the corner, it'll be here before you know it. January is definitely right around the corner, and it will definitely be here sooner rather than later. And so, again, just a great organization. Love to see people jump in there and fish some more of that.
Also, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle Black Friday sale.
Yeah, got that going on.
Black Friday sale, Friday, November 26th, 1 day only at Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. It's 40% off Old Timer and Uncle Henry pocket knives, 15% off rod and reels, 15% off apparels, and some sales on different baits. Go by Keith's, check them out. You can check out the sale pricing on his Facebook page, or you can go by the day of. So it'll be 1 day only sale, Friday, November 26th.
And again, let's wrap up the TTL Pro Team, the final event at Sam Rayburn. Here are the final results of that. Again, David Curtis and Mark Muke, they won it with a 2-day total of 55.97. The closest team to them was second place, Chris Wilson and Brandon Flowers with 38.64. So pretty good difference there, Kevin. I mean, we're talking blowing the field away.
Almost 18-pound difference.
And they had, David Curtis and Mark had big bass both days, a 7.23 on day one and a 10.98 anchored their day two stringer. And just impressive. They had 28.34 day one, 27.63 on day two. That's about as consistent as you can get.
Yeah. I mean, they've definitely got something to figure out. I don't know if it's a spot, a bait, or what exactly they got figured out. But to have two kind of sacks like that this time of year, they've got it figured out.
And overall winnings was $30,500. Pretty good win for those guys. Finishing third was Mike Grossman and Jay Kenrick with 38.59. Tim Klein and Chris McCall, who we just had on the phone, they were fourth with 36.25. Brandon Dickerson and Theron McCaldwell finished fifth with 35.86. Kevin takes sixth.
Sixth, Brett Cannon, Jace Garrison, 2-day total weight of 35.67. Seventh place, Kelly Owens, Brent Broussard with 34.19. And eighth place, Harold Moore and Eric Brigman had a total weight of 33.48. Rounding out the last place check was 31.22. 11th place, Shane Campbell and Keith Combs took 31.22 to get a check.
Yep, for $2,000. And so, again, congratulations to all the guys. And, again, for the first inaugural year for this event, I was impressed. very well run. The takeoffs were clean. The weigh-ins were extremely fast. They did a great job of getting guys in and out. And congratulations to Donnie and Pam and that entire staff of guys that they had with them putting these events on. First class, first group, first class organization. And probably looking forward to next fall. And by the way, I did announce the schedule for next year will come out in mid-December. So check the TTO Pro Tour website, and it's tto-proteam.com. Check it out. Mid-December, they'll be announcing the new lakes and the dates for next year's fall, and it will be in the fall again. So I just think that's a great move on their part.
No, I agree. I
like them in the fall. Let's see, what else we got? The Toy Bash, Kevin, coming up.
This coming weekend, Saturday, Outlaw Outdoors is putting on the Rayburn Toy Bash, November 20th. Entry fee is 2 toys valued at $30 each or $60 cash. They also have an optional side pot of $100 a team, which, of course, will be 100% payback. So, just the regular tournament details, again, $30. It's 2 toys valued at $30 each or $60 cash is the entry fee. First place is $1,500. Second place is $1,000. Third place is $700. All the way down to sixth place is $200, and Big Bass is $500.
And then we got one more event, Kevin. The Last Man Standing
qualifier. That is Sunday. So Outlaw Outdoors has the Toy Bash on Saturday, and then the qualifier is Sunday. So the qualifier is always, I believe, the first weekend in December. It's a bracket-style format tournament, something very different that has been a huge success, and they are only limited so many spots, and they're full.
Yeah.
So I think I forget exactly how many he's going to take from the qualifier. So instead of just opening up and being first 5 people to call, they are making it a qualifier, and the top, however many people he's going to take, finishes goes into the last man standing tournament.
Okay.
So it's $500 entry fee, but that if you qualify, so that pays for that tournament, and if you qualify, it pays for your last man standing entry as well.
Oh, cool. And also the Brandon Bell tournament, from what I'm hearing, it's 3/4 full. It's not quite full, so there's still plenty of time for you guys to jump in that and register for that. It'll be a great event on Sam Rayburn as well. Also, the Boat Shop has a crappie tournament coming up December the 11th. It's going any public body of water. The weigh-in will be at 4 o'clock, and it'll be at the Boat Shop location downtown right there in Shreveport. And so entry fee is $100, $10 for big fish, $10 entry fee for a trash side pot for trash fish. And so visit the Boat Shop on Facebook or call 318-402-0399 if you'd like to find out more information or to enter that event.
I think that does it for the day, Steve.
That's it. We're going to wrap us up. We appreciate you tuning us in. And again, ABA Solo 150 is not full yet either. Also, go to ABA.com, AmericanBassAnglers.com to sign up for ABA, or you can call them, and they'll be happy to take your registration over the phone. And again, theirs will be Texoma, Eufaula, and Sam Rayburn. March, April, and June are the tournament dates for that. Again, thank you for tuning us in. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. We also, if you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, make sure to message us on Facebook. Kevin will get a packet out to you, and we'll get you on board, especially if you're looking to come in on 2022. Mm-hmm. We'd love to have you. So thank you. Appreciate you tuning us in. For James, Steve, and Kevin, thank you for tuning us in. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.